No, I don't have an addiction. I just love the taste and aroma of it. It's so nice to start your day with a cup of coffee. Doesn't it remind you of anything? I'm not addicted, but I love drinking it every day, and I can't give it up. It's the same as if we were friends with other drugs. In this video, we will continue to break down the major mistakes that affect your physical and mental health. In previous videos, we've talked to you in depth about water, fats, fresh food, sugar, fruit, and a number of other things. Be sure to check out those videos on the channel afterward. But how so? Coffee isn't a drug, right? Well, how can I tell you? In fact, it's a real drug. Caffeine is a highly addictive substance. It's just that you usually think of those products that are forbidden as drugs, and you don't realize that caffeine belongs to the group of highly addictive substances that have a serious impact on your physical and mental health. The substances in coffee cause the activation of opioid receptors in your brain. To understand the seriousness, caffeine is listed as a banned substance by the Olympic Committee's Anti-Doping Commission. Coffee is legal, authorized, and the most widely used drug that you are free to consume at any time, anywhere in the world. Generally, there are 4 great products available for mass consumption, the substances of which have the strongest impact on your physical and mental health and life expectancy. These are caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, and marijuana. Notice I've listed them in descending order by the amount of use of these products. That's the last 3 we're going to talk to you about in the next few videos. Now let's discuss coffee, because coffee is the most widely used product in the world. It's consumed by about 2 billion people every day, so you can imagine what a huge business that is. And since it's someone else's business, that means someone is benefiting from you buying this product. That means someone will spend money on advertising it. You'll remember how you felt when you were a kid. Everyone who tried coffee for the first time, he spit it out because it is bitter and tasteless. But over time, based on the experience of people around us, movies, television, advertising, we were convinced that coffee is tasty and useful, especially if you dilute it with milk and add sugar. We got into the habit of drinking it. Why do it? Who should be inculcated with this habit? This is a very interesting question, and in order to answer it, we need to delve into history for a moment to understand how coffee became so popular. Let's go back to 1850, the beginning of the Second Industrial Revolution. The conveyor type of production appears, the number of large companies increases, labor productivity grows. All would be good, but the only weak point in this growth remains a man with his limited capacity to work. People are not robots. They can't work around the clock. They can make mistakes as a result of fatigue, loss of focus, attention, and so on. So the company's goal was to increase people's productivity so that they could do more of their jobs while reducing the number of mistakes. And it just so happened that the most available ingredient that increased human productivity at that time was coffee. After all, caffeine was known to increase concentration and impart strength for a while. What effect this has on human health and life expectancy, of course, no one thought. The main thing is that coffee increases the efficiency of people right now. Productions began to massively introduce the use of this product, and coffee breaks appeared. When work was restored and a person went for a break, consumed coffee, and then again returned to his labor duties. The quintessence of what it was many years ago we see with you today. Modern companies organize many coffee breaks during the day, open coffee shops in their departments. What can I say? But nowadays there is always a coffee machine in every kitchen, and at home, and at work. Well, or a machine somewhere in the lobby, where you can buy yourself a cup of coffee. How powerful the spread of this product that everyone drinks. And they know nothing about it, except that it is invigorating. Statistics show that after coffee breaks, a person's productivity increases, somewhere between 45 minutes and 1 hour on average. So what's the big deal, you say? After all, it's a good thing. There would be nothing wrong with it. If a cup of coffee would be annotated with the actions of this product and told about what consequences lead to the use of this drink there, at a distance of 5 to 15 years. Basically, the same thing happens with medicines that you buy at the pharmacy. Everywhere there's an insert with an abstract. But who will tell you about the side effects, about how coffee actually affects your physical and mental health in the long term if everyone benefits from drinking it? Of course, no one will. Everything you know about coffee right now is dictated by the companies that sell billions of tons of coffee a year. They are the ones who promote information about the safety and health benefits of this beverage for your health. I once conducted a survey of people I know, and more than 50% of the participants indicated that they consume coffee every day, not just 1, but more than 2 or 3 cups. That's actually a lot. And when I posted a video about coffee on YouTube for the first time and it went viral, some people told me that, well, coffee is good to drink. There are articles on this topic on the internet. If something you read on the internet is called content marketing, they write some kind of promotional article for you like British scientists said, discovered, found, on the basis of which you then make a decision. Are there studies on the benefits of coffee, you say? First of all, have you personally read these studies? Have you looked into what these studies actually say? And secondly, who do you think sponsors these studies? If you think that they are conducted by independent persons, alas, no. They are done by the manufacturers, and whoever pays for the research orders the results. Companies spend billions of dollars on advertising to give you the impression that coffee is healthy, that it improves low blood pressure, that it's good for your blood vessels, and that you can drink it every day. So you see articles on the internet, magazines, ads on TV, and even expert conclusions that coffee is, once again, you just think about it. The market size of 2 billion people a day. It's a business. So you'll never hear anything about the downside because it simply won't make money for those who will be in the business of selling this product. One of the main channels for promoting coffee is movies. In every movie or TV series, you see a person with a cup of coffee who drinks it, and you get the impression that, well, there is nothing wrong with it. The main character drinks it, so I can do the same. That it is on the contrary beautiful, pleasant, tasty to sit with a cup of coffee. And then you yourself do not notice how you go to a coffee shop or a coffee machine and pour yourself a cup of coffee and repeat the same thing that you saw in the movie. In reality, you have just been sold this idea of drinking coffee. Just imagine if billions of dollars were spent to promote fresh fruits and vegetables, you would know not to drink coffee, but to eat fresh produce 3 times a day and start your day with fruit. Hell yeah, Arthur, what the hell are you talking about? Everyone knows that you can't start with fruit, that you can't eat it on an empty stomach, And certainly not in the morning. Who's everybody? I, for one, know the opposite. I highly recommend watching the previous videos about fruit, sugar, and fresh food. There you will learn more about this topic. By the way, as you've noticed, I do content marketing too. And I'm doing it right now, recording a video for you. Only my budget for advertising is not billions of dollars, but my personal time to record this video for you and your repost with likes. I agree, the battle is certainly not equal, but you have to start somewhere. So be sure to support the post with likes and send this video to those who might benefit from it. In fact, caffeine is the most extensive and uncontrolled experiment on human longevity. It seems like just 1 or a couple cups of coffee a day, but over the course of several years, the mathematical use of caffeine disables your adrenal glands, which are responsible for producing adrenaline and a myriad of other hormones in your body. The adrenal glands are your government, looking out for the well-being and health of your body. If they become weakened, your entire body goes into decline. So what are the effects of 1 cup of coffee on your body? I've highlighted 3 points. The first is the release of adrenaline into the bloodstream and the wear and tear on the adrenal glands in response to caffeine consumption. Increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, focus, alertness. These are all symptoms of adrenaline production. This daily stimulation leads to adrenal exhaustion and consequent hormone problems. Yes. Now hello to everyone who is trying to lower their low blood pressure by drinking coffee, instead of figuring out the real cause of your low blood pressure. You are just trying to affect the symptom. It's the same thing as just eating away at some problem. The second thing is that coffee makes changes to the circadian rhythms that are responsible for the sleep and wake cycles in your body. A hormone such as adenosine is produced, which is responsible for your body's fatigue. When you sleep well, when you wake up in the morning, your adenosine is minimal. You feel alert, energetic. Then you accumulate adenosine during the day, and by evening its concentration in the blood is maximum, which allows you to go to bed easily and fall asleep quickly. And it just so happens that the caffeine molecule is similar to the adenosine molecule that your body produces. When you drink coffee, the caffeine molecule takes the place of your adenosine molecule and blocks the information of incoming fatigue. And your adenosine molecules can't reach their destination because someone else has already taken their place. That is, you do not become more awake, you just stop feeling tired, but it does not mean that fatigue has disappeared somewhere. Adenosine is always accumulating in your blood, and eventually there comes a moment when the body is cleared of caffeine, and the half-life of caffeine is from 3 to 6 hours, depending on your lifestyle and current state of health. your body with a double slim force, and you feel a dramatic sag in your energy. And what usually happens? You want to go get a cup of coffee again to recharge, and you end up just in a vicious cycle. And so, if you have a hard time waking up in the morning, if it's just incredibly hard to get your head off the pillow, that's an indication that your adenosine levels just didn't go down during the night. Meaning you slept and the adenosine reduction didn't happen and you wake up with high adenosine levels. The only thing you can do, of course, is to go and have a cup of coffee in order to somehow, bring yourself back to a state of wakefulness. Do you know why that happens? Because caffeine critically affects your sleep. At night, it affects the deep phases of your sleep, which is where your body's deep recovery and adenosine reduction occurs. And now the most important thing. The period of complete elimination of caffeine is somewhere around 12 hours. That is, if you drank a cup of coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Caffeine will affect your body and prevent your body from falling into a deep sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you consistently drink several cups a day, this process will take even longer. There may be those of you who will say, "Yeah, I seem to be sleeping okay," although sleep would be a topic for a separate video, but I will still explain now. Just closing your eyes in the evening and waking up in the morning is not sleep. We have several phases of sleep. You can seem to sleep and even sleep for a long time, but you don't fall into the right phases. And is just one of the substances that affect the quality and depth of your sleep. Many of you get so used to a superficial sleep that you don't even know how it can be different. Basically, these 2 points alone are enough to make you reconsider your attitude towards coffee. But friends, please note, I am not encouraging you to give up coffee. I'm just raising your level of awareness so that you are aware of what leads to what and can make the right choice. But let's still address the third point. Caffeine belongs to the group of alkaloids, meaning that it is in fact a poisonous substance. And no matter what concentration you dilute this poison with water or some other beverage, it is still a poison. When caffeine enters your body, it activates opioid receptors in the brain that cause feelings of pleasure, which is exactly what leads to addiction. Many people feel physical and emotional pain when withdrawing from caffeine, and it's no surprise that coffee is higher than many other addictive substances in terms of addiction. That's why it's so hard to quit, and 2 billion people around the world drink it every day. Caffeine has a lethal dosage. It is equal to 10 grams. Depending on the type of coffee, the method of its preparation, the number of cups you drink, you can consume from 5 to 20% of this critical amount per day. So, it might be worth reconsidering your attitude toward the poison that is diluted with water, milk, and sugar, and has been poisoning you slowly and a little at a time for years. Your body has tremendous adaptive recovery abilities and can survive a lot, but the resources of your internal organs will diminish. And the stimulation that many people feel after drinking coffee, although in fact not everyone feels it now, many are so used to it that they don't even feel it anymore, is a response to the use of a poisonous substance. The secretion occurs in response, but even if you have already adapted and do not feel any sensations when drinking coffee, it does not mean that it does not affect your internal organs. It does. You are expending resources to put up resistance. Your immune system is working. And I haven't even mentioned the carcinogens that appear in coffee beans as a result of high temperature roasting. After all, it all ends up in your cup. Have any of you seen the movie Fast and Furious? Well, it's where the main character is driving a racing superbike. He presses the red button on the steering wheel. A special mixture is injected into the engine that increases engine power. And then he presses it and just goes flying. He has an incredible increase in engine performance. Now, remember what usually happens when the main character holds that button for a very long time. The engine just fails. So using substances like this is always a game of debt. You use doping, for which you have to pay later. If you pour various stimulants into yourself every day without alcohol and do not think about the future, sooner or later, there will be nothing to think about. Try to let go of the red button and go more calmly, taking your time, so that you don't have to drink hormones later, because the adrenals don't work, so that you don't have to have your thyroid removed, so that mental disorders don't happen, so that your nervous system is healthy. Try just replacing coffee with water with lemon or some types of herbal tea. Herbs are a great tool to improve your physical and mental health. For example, there are herbs that have great tonic properties and multiple positive effects on your body. They are also, by the way, very, very tasty. These are the real foods that will really energize you and improve your adrenal health. The main thing to remember is that your body needs your help, and no one but you can take better care of it. After all, you are the only one with you. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. More information on this topic can be found at the links in the description under this video and on our channel. Subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. Please like and share this video with your friends. Thanks to our sponsors for their support. I eagerly await your comments and encourage you to watch these useful videos.